Chip,
Hi.
this is like, I can't even tell you how exciting this week's interview was for me. Like, I don't know that there's many people who would have made me nerd out so much. And I was actually like physically nervous to where my voice was shaking at the beginning of the interview.
I mean, it's like they say don't meet your heroes for a reason.
I know. And it's so wild because my literal job is working with celebrities. So it's not
Yeah.
like I get like starstruck. I only get starstruck when I see people like Dolly Parton, like legends, that
Yeah.
I
Because
grew
you
up
cannot
just
believe
worshiping.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like she's epic. It's Dolly, like people like that. But yeah,
This
it's
is
just,
different. You didn't want to feel like a fool in front of someone whose work you respect on a different
well,
level.
that's the deal. It's the work that I respect so much and the way that he handles the work, like ethically, and he talks so openly about it. We're just very aligned on values too. And so I was just so
Someone's got a
excited.
crush. Keep it in your pants, Kelly.
I want to date John
We're
Edward. No, I'm just
so
kidding.
aligned. Oh, he's
Keep it
so
in your
aligned with
pants.
me. I don't even know what he
Why
looks
did
like.
you
I'm
have
about
to
to Google what he looks like.
he's married, you sick
Okay.
freak. And I'm in a relationship. It's
Well,
not like that at all. It's more like I just was so excited to be able to collab with him. And yeah, you're just kind of in awe. I mean, he has such a gift with the way that he can read people and he's a medium and all this stuff. He's such a good writer with all the books, but just down to earth and cool. And was sort of in awe. I don't know. I was
yeah.
just so excited. That's like who I get really excited to talk to these days. Anyway, we're talking about John Edward. I guess I should clue the listeners in on what we're even talking about. But this week on the podcast, John Edward, he is very much in the like public world. He had a show called Crossing Over way back in the day. And if you guys listened to the Bonnie Hammer episode, you heard her say that she was the one who really got that show on the air, like got NBC to sign on and do that show I think it was on the Sci-Fi network back in the day, which just goes to show you how they ranked psychic readings. It was on the Sci-Fi
That
network.
right. Yeah.
And she really had to fight for him to get that show. But it was so interesting because I had read a book of his before I did that interview with Bonnie, and I had reached out via DM, but he doesn't respond to DMs. So I was like, how am I ever going to get in touch with this guy? I really want to have him on the podcast. And then there comes Bonnie,
Here comes
being
Bonnie.
Universin, and just really setting me up, which was, yeah, it was amazing. So anyway, John
It's funny.
Edward.
He mentioned Lori Levine, who was a talent booker
Oh,
on
you
the
know her?
yeah, I know her. There's a moment where he said that he had to cancel an interview with Joan Rivers because he had
Oh,
watched
yes.
her like Hollywood True Story.
Yeah.
And so he had too much information to go into her reading
Yeah.
because he wanted to know less about her.
Do you
And
see what I'm saying about the
yeah,
ethics?
yes.
See what I'm saying?
And he was like, yeah, I had to call my talent booker, Lori Levine. And he like so offhandedly said it. And I was like, name's so familiar. And I looked her up. Yeah, she's at a company called Flying Television.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you work with
So
her.
what a
That's
small
so fun.
world. So
Though,
I thought
truly.
it was funny because you also in the podcast talk about all these like the domino effect of how it even happened. And then I'm like, oh, well, there's a way that we could have gotten to him. It's through Lori Levine.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, the hits keep on coming with the synchronicities with me and him because then he's been out promoting the book Chasing Evil, which we're going to talk about in a second. And I was in New York last week with a client on Kelly Clarkson. Well, I literally am leaving the show. Like I left Kelly Clarkson to go straight to the airport because I had to get back to Nashville for a gig. And I see that he has posted because I'm on his app called Evolve Plus now. He's posted from Kelly Clarkson. He was literally at the show the same time I was on the same day being interviewed. I don't know how we didn't see each other because it's like so small in those backstage
Yeah. How
areas,
did you not even see like the placard on his door?
I don't know. I saw Ethan Hawke and like that was I had like a interesting interaction with him, but he's also one of those people that you can't believe is a real person because you've grown up watching him on stuff, you know?
Right.
So it was a
Right.
very surreal experience. But no, I missed John Edward. I could not believe it though. Like, what are the
Well, now that
odds
you're
of
friends
that?
with him, you can be like, sorry, I missed you.
Well, I emailed him and I was like, "You're never gonna believe this." And he was not as like, "Oh my God," as I was. He was like, "Oh,
He
that's
was like, yeah,
cool."
bitch, I knew. I
Well,
was
he probably
hiding
did.
from you.
That's the thing. Okay, so this is another point about why I think I was so nervous at the beginning. So it's like, when you do interviews and obviously when we come on the podcast, you try to be as professional and as prepared as you can. And so you're doing a conversation, and I do like to keep these podcasts very conversational and real. So I do think I lean more that way, but I'm also prepared. It's not like I just show up and just chat. And so with this one though, I wanted to be obviously I wanted it to be great and I wanted to do a good interview, but I also was like, can he read that I'm nervous right now? And like you start to really get in your head about him knowing even if you're acting very professional and put together on the outside that you're about to lose your shit on the inside. Like I thought there's nowhere to hide from John Edward. He just
Right.
knows everything.
Yeah.
He's omnipresent is what it feels like.
Could you imagine being married to him?
No, you could never get away or like his kid. Think about his kids trying to get away with stuff and like trick their parents, you know?
Right.
He's
And
like,
when
"No,
they're
no,
at an
no, no,
age where they
no."
don't understand what psychic is.
He's like, "My guide said you're lying."
Yeah.
Anyway, it's super fascinating to talk to him. He's a fascinating human. I really respect him, as you guys can probably tell. But we talked a little bit about just psychic stuff in general. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that with you first, because that's a world that I know you've heard me talk about for years and some other friends of ours. But for you, you've just said, like, I just haven't really dabbled. It's not really this world that I'm comfortable with. And you were saying, I just don't know. I know he says everyone's got like intuition and stuff, but I don't know that it resonates for me. So talk a little bit about what you were telling me about that.
Well, I mean, I have been to mediums before and experienced, like, what they're able to do, but the idea that, like, everyone has it in them what did he said something like, "They're mediums are born, not made?"
Yeah.
Um, and that, like, being psychic and having intuition are essentially the same thing. It's just how much you are able to, like, sort of trust your intuition and read into it and blah, blah, blah. And I certainly have had, like, moments in my life that I can look at and be like, "I knew it. I knew it. My gut was telling me. I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it." But I also think that the part of my personality that is just open and accepting and loving and wants to believe the best in everyone has more control over my overall being
Mhm.
than I allow my gut to. Um, that sort of prevents me from, like, it even feeling like a realistic thing that I ever might, like, have any of those powers.
Yeah,
Um
but go
I'm
ahead.
also non-confrontational, so it's a lot easier for me to accept things for the way that I want to believe them than it is to be
Mhm.
like, "That bitch is lying," and, like, just
Uh-huh.
calling somebody out, you know? So it's easier for me just to laugh things off. But you were telling me that in terms of my astrology,
Right. Oh my god, I love that you just
that
transitioned into
I
that.
mean,
This
I
is like
got
my dream
Pisces up in
conversation.
here, I got some Scorpio up in here, somewhere in my roof. I don't know where you said it is in my house, but but
It's in your top 3. So Chip is a Sun Scorpio, Pisces moon, Scorpio rising. So it's literally what I was saying to you is those are 2 of the most psychic placement or signs, and you have them in your top 3 defining your personality a lot, you know? And so you should be one of the more intuitive, or that's one of the more like most intuitive readings that I've seen. I mean, as far as like water placements in general, they say are way more tapped in because we feel everything. Like
right.
if you walk into a room, you're probably going to sense the energy of the room ahead of time. But you said, I just wonder if I'm not tapped in. And I actually think that that's interesting, especially thinking back to like our Enneagram conversation a couple weeks ago. And you have you're a 7, right?
Mhm.
And so a 7 doesn't really wanna, like, sit and dive deep into stuff, which it would take for you to tap into your intuition. Like, you
Right.
have to sit in quiet probably and, like, learn how to work with it and stuff like that, meditate, do all those kinda things. And I don't know that you sit enough to give yourself that space, but
It's
your
like a throwback to our
wiring.
Andrea conversation last week,
Oh,
like,
that's true
I need to
too.
put it in my calendar.
Let yourself be bored so you
Yeah,
can tap
yeah.
into your intuition. Yeah, but or put it in your calendar to really start trying to listen to your body. But yeah, it's just interesting that you could have such wiring for that and not really feel like you're intuitive at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely there have been, like I said, moments where I'm like, "I fucking knew. I knew it."
Yeah.
Or, like, I'll pick up I can definitely like there are times when I'm like in a group setting, I'll pick up that someone's energy is really off.
Mhm.
Um when seemingly no one else is noticing it.
Mhm.
And then rather than like then I try to like placate that person in a way or
Totally.
try to
I do
make
the
them
same thing.
happier or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Um or, try to make sure like just be a little bit more sensitive to how they're feeling.
Mhm.
And but I've never thought of that as psychic. I've always thought of it as like, oh, everyone else is too drunk to like be picking up
Mm.
what this person's putting down, or I'll catch the way that something is said and see how it's received by somebody. But I've never thought about that as, like, psychic. I just more observant than anything, I guess.
Yeah. Psychic is a word that when it's given as the label, a lot of people check out pretty quickly. It's the
Yeah,
same as
because it's
how
like,
you
"You
feel.
witch doctor."
Exactly, it's so woo-woo, and it's similar to how I think you the second I say, "Well, in your astrology," you're like, like, "What
Right.
is she talking about?" But it's a similar thing to me, whereas if you use the word intuition, that maybe you could relate a little bit more or identify it more because what you just said is exactly what I was talking about, and I think maybe you're just not giving it the label of, "Oh, I'm sensing, I'm
Right.
intuiting," even, like, those moments, you're right, not everybody is gonna pick up on that,
Yeah.
or even notice it or anything like that, and so those are the things that you're picking up on in a social setting or being around other people intuitively.
Yeah.
But you don't have to say psychic. That's why I asked him at the beginning of the podcast, like, the difference between people having a strong psychic knowing or intuition versus people who should actually do readings.
Right.
Because I know I'm an intuitive human, but I don't think I should be doing readings for people. I tell people sometimes when I, like, sense things, but I'm never like, "Oh my god, I'm sensing this for you, and, let me offer up this tidbit about your life," or
Right,
this
right, yeah.
being that I feel like I'm sensing for you or anything like that. Like, I don't think that it hasn't been in my skill set so far. So,
Well, I mean, honestly, like and not to keep throwing it back to last week's, but, like, the chaos in my life, the last thing I need is to start hearing voices and spirit guides, and,
but
like,
that's
I
more
just
like
don't
being a medium. I don't know that
right, like,
being
I just
intuitive
don't
means you're gonna
need
talk to
that.
dead people.
Yeah, I don't need any of that.
You're like, "I don't
Uh,
need a sixth
I do
sense. I'm good with
not.
the 5."
Sometimes I wish that I only had 4.
Well, John came on the podcast to talk about his new book, Chasing Evil, which was so good. I told him I listened in 2 days and it goes by so fast. But if you're a person who enjoys like a Dateline or anything like that, I highly, highly, highly recommend this book or just anything suspenseful in general. Like it definitely makes you wanna keep listening because 'cause you're trying to figure out, are they gonna solve these cases? But he basically worked with a FBI agent for 20 plus years, helping him solve murder mysteries, and they solved a bunch of them that I'm not sure the FBI would have ever solved without John. Like, it's fascinating when you listen to the book, the tidbits that he was giving were the things that would make them find the body or help them know what the killer was doing and things like that. And I always wondered before even having this conversation with him, why wouldn't the police or the FBI or anybody like that use someone like a John to solve these
More
mysteries?
often,
Yeah,
yeah.
like why is that not a thing? It seems like it should be a thing. So I'm glad that he's putting it out because maybe that is something we need in our society to be more acceptable. Because he said he didn't talk about it forever because the FBI agent, Robert Hillen or Bob Hillen, and, even his dad, John's dad, who was a cop, were like, "Don't bring that into the police world." Like, cops will not get this psychic thing, and they were very skeptical. So it was very interesting to hear the change that happened throughout the book with Bob's experience with John and him actually helping and, like, how they evolve together. It's really, really good. It becomes like almost a spiritual book, but it starts as like Dateline and then into spirit, which is all the combination of things. So it's just interesting to see how you can use intuitive knowings and all of those spiritual things that we're working on in tangible ways in this life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think the proof of concept will help with pushing that forward, and obviously to get any sort to solve a crime, you have to have hard evidence too. It can't just be like, well, Gina over here says that she thinks that, like,
Yeah.
so clearly, whatever his intuitions were that were leading them, they were finding like real evidence that would support the story. And
Mhm.
I mean, having not listened to the book, I'm sort of speaking out of my ass, but like, I would imagine if they kept coming back to him and he was able to do it over and over and over again, there was tangible things that were
Oh, yeah.
evidence that could be used in court to solve the crime. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that that's not more of a thing. I wondered, when we were growing up, there was, like, Miss Cleo and all that shit that was on television.
Yeah,
The rap that people that have psychic abilities must have because of the clowns like that were just trying to profit off of
totally.
people's curiosities, and, um, doesn't, it they're just kinda telling people what they wanna hear, and profiting off of
Well,
it
she got
versus
busted for not
yeah,
being legit, and so I think that
yeah,
probably did add to people's skepticism, but then when John did his show Crossing Over, I think he got a lot of hate and a lot of skeptics and a lot of people being just mean and rude about what he was doing and not believing in it, but he still stood strong and moved forward, and now he's got multiple books and all the things. I actually watched him on a live on the Evolve Plus app last night, and he did a reading for someone. It was wild to watch.
right.
Just I mean, he just immediately was talking to her dead sister and things like that, which I know sounds scary to people, but and the first time there's a guy in Nashville called Frank Castellano. Is that Frank's last name?
Yeah, yeah, the
We've both
spirit
seen Frank.
chrysalis. Yeah.
Yeah, the spirit chrysalis, and Frank's actually been on the podcast. I forgot that, actually. This was when I first started the podcast, and the second I walked in, I was very skeptical. I was like, "Oh, let's see what this is about." This is before I kinda got on my own spiritual journey, and my grandfather had just crossed over and came through, and the stuff he was saying, like, that's where people go, "Oh, well, he could just Google that." There's no way. It was about
No.
characteristics and personality traits of my grandfather that there's no way he would find that information anywhere unless he knew my grandfather, you know? And so I immediately started sobbing and just kind of bought in after that because it's like, well, there's no way he could know that, and it definitely started to feel like, I was with my grandfather very near his death, and so it definitely started to feel like we were connected energetically. Now I have a whole 'nother understanding of it, and I feel it all the time, but
Yeah.
I can see why at first for people it's bizarre, and then when you actually have an instance like what I was talking about last night, and then my experience where there's just no way that they could know that, it does have you going, "Okay, well, there's gotta be something to this
Yeah.
thing."
I had a very similar experience with Frank, like, and trust me, it's like, I'm one of those people that wants to poke holes in
Well,
things
I did
too.
too.
I mean, I wanna believe it, but I also wanna poke holes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the Intuit in me, like, I wanna, like, be trusting my gut too.
It's very
But he
Scorpio of you.
he said things about both of my grandparents that I'm like, "No one would know."
Yeah.
Like, he talked about my grandfather fixing watches.
Mhm.
That is not something that you could find. First of all, there's nothing about my grandfather except for his name and, his obituary at this point on the internet. So, good luck Googling his life.
Mhm.
And then he brought up something about my grandmother that never had occurred to me, but when he said it, it made me burst into tears. Like, he was like, "Your grandmother was kind. She loved everyone. She was like, the kind of grandmother that baked,
Mm,
but your grandmother never baked." And I was like, it made me think like, no, my mom never baked. She made fudge. That was it.
yeah.
She never baked,
Yeah.
which I thought was, I mean, look, could that have been a lucky thing? Absolutely. But I feel like most grandmas probably bake.
Yeah, well, and it's the way I mean, with my grandfather, he would talk so specifically about the way he screwed in a light bulb, and if you knew anything about my grandfather, it was so spot on. And that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. It's like the
Yeah.
personality pieces. I think in this day and age, we're so skeptical because people can Google anything and figure out, things about you. But our grandparents were before that time. So that wasn't the case. One of the other things we talked about from that book was because, intuition's a big part of it, but then there's also this like karmic piece of the justice piece. And John and I both have so much Libra in our chart. And so we talked about how tricky it can be when you have this knowing and just having to sit in that, or with him, it was like knowing that someone had been murdered terribly, but like he hadn't been given the way to make it right, or there was this one person that maybe they weren't gonna find, and there's just all of these things like this battle of justice. Do you have that thing in you? Like, I don't know that you have it like I have it. I
I
haven't
don't think that
experienced it.
I don't think I do. I mean, I can't think of an example where I could point to that where I've
Yeah,
experienced it. Um,
yeah. What do you think about karma? Do you think karma's real?
I mean, I definitely like I want to believe that um yeah, I want to believe in karma because I do think that people that do bad things like it's all we're all energy, you know? So if you're
Mhm.
putting bad energy back into the world, I would hope that it comes back and smacks you in the face. In the same way that if you are doing kind things for people and that's the energy you're putting out in the world, that you'll be repaid with that.
Mm,
Like, and I don't know if that's just me being Pollyanna, but like maybe that's what like drives me to be kind. And
yeah.
so I need that, sort of recipe of my life, but I think it's real. I mean, I feel like I won't say the term that I've used for myself, but I've often like asked my friends like, "Why am I so lucky?"
Mhm.
Like, "What's the joke that's being played on me that I got this life?"
Oh.
And I think the only explanation is good karma.
Well, so I have a lot of things to say to all the stuff you said about what I think about this. And so this is just my interpretation. But I think that my new understanding of karma is different from where I was with it, because I used to be so scared. Like, oh my God, anytime anything negative in my life would happen, I would feel like it was punishment for something. Like, to look
Right.
at it as like the judge and jury, just like the mean God. Like, I just used to feel that way a lot. And I've really shifted my narrative on that stuff. But I look at karma now as more of like, the universe is always going to be working to balance. And like
Right.
we talk about in our day to day life, we talked about it with when we were talking about Andrea the other day, like, or last week, that we're constantly kind of working to find this like balance in our life, and it never stops. But I think the universe is doing the same thing too. And I don't think it ever stops. So if you don't get that balance in this lifetime, I believe that it would carry over into other lifetimes you live. And when you're saying, like, why do I have such, why am I so lucky? Why do I get this life? I don't know that you haven't had hard lives before
Right.
this. It's like
Right.
this lifetime is great. And I say that all the time too. I'm like, there's been some hardships in my life for sure, but I like this life. And so it's going to be sad when my soul leaves this body and this life, because it's great. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many things that I love about this life. But I think it comes with knowing that, yeah, there were some that weren't great, and there was other ones that might be hard in the future, but it's all about the lessons that our soul is trying to learn. And so that's where the karma piece comes in, because if we were acting a fool and being cruel to all these people, like, the reason it would come back to you is so that you learn what that feels like when you treat other people that way. So that
Yes.
hopefully as you evolve, you're like, I don't want to do that to them because it feels like shit, because I felt it now. So you create empathy, right? The
Yeah.
older we get as souls, I think that the more empathy we come into this world with, because we've lived so many lifetimes as the asshole, as the fuck up, as the whatever, the odd man out. And we don't want to make other people feel that way. That's my interpretation, at
I mean,
least.
I think it's really interesting because it's also like I believe that people often hurt other people when they're not meaning to.
What do you
And,
mean?
so well, it's not intentional always to be an asshole. You're being selfish, and it hurts other people, and, you weren't it was, like, a result of, like, not even thinking. So, it's the universe's way of teaching that lesson
Hmm.
to be like, "Yo, man, like, stop being so fucking selfish. Like, this is what you're gonna get, so you know what it feels like."
Oh, you're saying
Uh
later, when if they would get
Yeah,
something
when
similar
karma does
back,
come
or
back around,
yeah.
like, look, do I believe that there is real evil in the world and people that are making choices to, like, harm others and to make other people feel like shit? Yes. But I don't think that every time that, you harm somebody else or hurt somebody else, that it's not accidental. Because I believe that we all do make mistakes and we
Of
accidentally hurt
course.
each other. But that is, in those moments, that's what karma comes back around to teach you.
Mhm. It
Um,
helps me to think about it too in that that makes me feel more connected to everyone's journey, even the people who I feel, in this lifetime I've been like, they've treated me so bad and how are they not getting theirs? First of all, I don't know that they're not. Like I don't really know,
right,
there's the people in my life that didn't treat me well are no longer in my life. So, who knows what's happening in their life because you can't judge by social media. We have no idea. So they may be balancing out in ways that I have no idea and it doesn't necessarily mean if they wronged me that I'm going to wrong them back and that's how karma works. It's like they will get the lesson though at some
right.
point. Will they accept it in this lifetime? Maybe not. Like I may never see it. It might be the next lifetime that they get the lesson and they're like understanding how terrible certain actions make people feel, like what you're saying. And I do think it's unintentional sometimes, but the karma coming back to you is the teacher. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's the aha moment of, oh, I should be paying more attention to this action because now that I'm on the other side of it, I see how it makes people feel.
Yeah. I mean, look, karma is a bitch. Like, there's a reason why that statement, I think,
It's also a gift though, because it
yeah,
keeps us in check. It keeps
yeah,
you in check of just not becoming a total human monster.
right.
Because if we didn't have karma, would we ever treat people nicely? Like we would just be worried about ourselves.
Well, karma isn't, there's always consequences for your action. I think consequences stop us from being complete shitbags all the time, but karma isn't always instant, whereas a lot of times a consequence is instant. Like you punch
Oh, I
somebody
see
on the
what you're saying.
playground, you're
Yeah.
getting suspended.
Yeah.
But the karma is when,
Can be a slow burn, like
yeah,
karma.
you're walking down the street and a car hits you and breaks your leg, and you're
Right.
like, oh well, fuck.
Right.
So I do think consequences keep us in check a little bit, but karma is like it's sneaky,
Mhm.
I think it will come back around when you're least expecting it, when the message is the most clear.
Right. The more we say the word karma, all I can think is karma is a cat. That Taylor Swift song.
Is karma coming around for Taylor Swift right now? It's very weird.
I just don't
And
understand
not to
why
get
she's
off.
getting so much hate. This is such a
Well, I think it's
digression, but
because the expectations were different,
yeah, but people are
like.
that's so unfair
But at the
too.
same time, she's gonna sell 4,000,000 records in the first week. Like, she's gonna break a
Exactly.
record.
So
Like,
there you go.
I think the hate is coming. The reason why I have negativity towards her is because she is just milking these fans for every fucking dollar. What? So she can break a record? Like, how about make a better record? Sorry.
Oh, so you don't like it
I
either.
think it's boring,
Yeah. See,
like,
I didn't
I
mind. I've had it on. I've been listening, and I said to
it's
her,
fine,
"Yeah,
is
it's
all it
fine."
is. I
But the
expected
girl
more
has
from
been
her.
producing albums since she was like 13.
Oh,
Like,
I get it.
I
I
mean,
get it.
the amount of content she has given people through the years, I'm
I
like, you
I get
think you're
it,
gonna
but then
love every
stop.
single piece? Yeah, pause for a minute. She could have
Yeah,
paused. But
pause.
I like it. Like some of the songs, and I said to our friend Courtney, I was like, maybe it's because I'm in love too right now, like just so, in my phase of
Yeah,
love. That when I hear some of these songs that fans are so annoyed with, I'm just singing along right with her, just in my cheesy love phase.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
I
that's what
felt like
they're.
lyrically it just did not add up, and, like, the song "Would" about Travis's penis is
See,
just,
but I
like,
would have never picked up on that being
it's
about that if
corny.
people
Like, I think
didn't.
she's trying to be Sabrina Carpenter.
Mm. Well,
Anyway, we
Sabrina's on a song.
digress,
We did
but
digress.
I do think it was karma coming around because I think
Okay.
she's taken too much money from too many people.
She also, I don't know, whatever.
I know, she
Okay.
gives a lot.
She
She
gives a
does.
lot away, and I don't know that feel like she's fully doing that, but whatever. I don't know her personally, so
Well,
I'll
I
keep it
knew
to.
something was coming. Like, I was like, there is no way she's just dropping 12 songs. And then she dropped, you can listen to her demos. She's selling the demos for
Mm,
24 hours.
got it. Well,
It's just to get to the sales record,
yeah. Well,
make
isn't
that mini
everybody
henny.
doing that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I talked about so many different things with John. I feel like we could go on and on, but if you guys haven't listened to that podcast, he talked a lot about like protecting your energy and just more of tapping into your own intuition. And we did break down the book as well. So I don't know. I just am obsessed with him, if you can't tell. I'm pretty sure everyone can tell. I'm a huge fan. He also gave a code for you guys if you want to join the Evolve Plus app. It's Cookie 2025. You do it on your desktop, and it gives you a really, really big discount if you want to go check that out. I'm loving it. It took me a minute to figure out how to work it and like to kind of surf it. It's different than other scrolling apps or whatever, but they do a lot of lives. I just find it to be a very helpful community. And it's basically like what we're doing here as far as topic wise. But they actually, they have these lives where you can go talk to the people about it and you can talk to each other. And I'm loving a community like that. That's the kind of social media app I want, where we talk about
Right.
this kind of spiritual stuff. We're analyzing life like you and I do every week. And we're actually trying to better ourselves and evolve versus just tearing people down and doing all the things. I'm saying this on the heels of us analyzing Taylor.
Well,
Karma
we're
is a
we're not it
bitch.
wasn't yeah, true. But that's interesting because maybe that's the future of social media.
I
Like,
hope
I
so.
do think when it started, it was meant to bring people together for
I do.
common experiences,
Yeah.
but it became just a cesspool of everybody, whereas maybe it
Yeah.
needs to be more niche. Like,
Yeah.
music lovers go here, film lovers go I mean, and I know that some of these things exist already, but, like, maybe we don't need to be on the one I think so many of us wanted to, like, feel popular,
Well,
you
and
know?
it's like there's billions of people in this world. How did we think that we were just all going to be aligned? Like
Right,
everyone has
right.
different life experiences. So go find the fact that I'm on a group text right now and I'm getting a text from you. Did you forget that I'm on that text too?
Hey, you're looking at your text too.
I am not. I got a notification saying Chip Dorsch just texted you. And I'm like, no, he fucking did.
So
What?
you didn't know I was doing it.
Yes,
I've
I
gotten
did. I
good.
saw you type. You're so delusional about your ability to do more than one
I
thing. And
can't double task or
oh
whatever it's
my
called.
God, but you cannot single task either because you can't focus. It's wild. Okay, Chip and I are obviously going to need to go have a chat. We will not make the listeners listen through that. But you guys can always keep in touch with us at theedge@velvetsedge.com. I will put a link to Chasing Evil and also put the Evolve Plus code in the description of this podcast. Go check out all things John Edward. Maybe you'll be as obsessed as me. Seems like such a solid
I'm
dude.
definitely listening to that book.
I think you need to. I
Yeah.
hope you do, and then you'll have to report back to us. I mean, I'm telling you, I did it in 2 days. It was so fast for me because I couldn't turn it off.
Did you
I'm
listen
like
to
in
it
it.
sped up? Do you listen to books sped
I
up?
think I might have done 1.5. I do everything kind of a little bit
Yeah.
faster, just because it takes away basically the spaces and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it goes by so fast because you want to know what's going to happen. They leave you on
Yeah.
a cliffhanger. It's like binging a show, basically. Anyway, check out Chasing Evil. It's very good. You can also slide into my DMs. I'm at Velvet's Edge. Chip.
I'm at Chip Dorsch. It's ChipDorsch.
And our podcast Instagram is growing, Chip. And it's at Velvet's Edge. So you guys go follow us along on that as
It's Velvet's
well.
Edge Pod, isn't it?
Velvet's Edge Podcast.
Oh, you just said Velvet's Edge.
Oh, well, that's mine. I followed you
See,
first.
I can single task.
Our joint podcast Instagram is at Velvet's Edge Podcast.
There
Sorry
you
about that,
go.
guys. Freudian slip. I'm just trying to get followers myself. No, just kidding.
Karma's gonna come for you, bitch.
Karma is. Damn it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, universe. Okay. Anyway, all of that will be in the description of this podcast. So as you guys go into the weekend and you're living on the edge, I hope you always remember to
Act casual.
bye.
Bye.